Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another stream and another chapter working on that guy right there. This is chapter 5. Chapter 5. Working on that guy there, that's a 1969 Corvette 427 by Revell. We're gonna run the intro. We'll get into it. Okay guys, we are back and we're going to continue on the build. It's actually technically just a little bit later in the day for me, which is why you see me in the same shirt as last time. Been doing some stuff off camera and getting things kind of prepared and ready. These are not what I'm working on right now. These are for a totally different project, so we're going to put these aside. So I have... Last time we finished off the engine. The engine is ready to be installed. Our engine is done. Okay, yay. And we got the radiator assembly. Whoops. Radiator's assembly here. So my knife wants to go away. I did glue it to the radiator backing, so that is glued on there. So she's ready for installation. What else? Our undercarriage. The exhaust has been glued on, and our cross member is in place. So last time you saw me just put these down in, and I just let that dry for probably a good hour, and then put our pipes down in there, and I clamped our cross member down and left that sit for about an hour. And so our pipes are in there and they are ready. Something I just checked out, I wanted to show you this. This is something I'm going to have to deal with in a little while. Let's go overhead cam and see here. So here's our exhaust mounted into the frame, just like so. Okay. Now our engine is going to mount in here. We've got the little peg at the bottom of our transmission there. That's going to go into this little hole right here, and that gives us a nice positive mounting point. So let's put that in like this. So there's our engine as they would have us put it in. And we flip over and have a look, and we see our exhaust pipes do not match the headers at all. They don't match the exhaust manifold at all. They don't line up at all. And that's not any fault of the exhaust manifolds, because those are glued flat against the heads as they should be. If I had spread them out, then they would not have glued properly to the head. So how are we going to fix that? Well, I'm actually going to, when it comes time, because we're not doing it just yet, but I'm going to squeeze my pipes. We got some flex. We got some flex in our pipes here. We can kind of flex these around a little bit. Okay, so I can kind of line them up on the actual header or exhaust manifold. Let me change my glasses so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so before I actually get the transmission mounted, let's stick these in here on the actual engine, like this and like that. And now they're actually on there connected, except my transmission is sitting about 1 millimeter too far forward. So the engine is sitting at just a hair forward, but I think that'll be okay. What's going to be the challenge is, does the drive shaft still line up if the engine has been pushed forward half a millimeter or 1 millimeter? Let's find that out. Okay, let's find our drive shaft. I have it already painted, so it's going to hide on me. Here we go. So you can see I'm getting to work on our rally wheels there. That's been painted the argent silver, which I've been told is the color of on those. And I've done the highlighting on the inside, so we've got some accent there. So I still have to do the chrome on them. So that'll be some more work on there. Let's get our drive shaft off of here so we can have a look at how this is going to fit. So our drive shaft is going to go right into here. It's going to go all the way back, actually. Way back here. It kind of hides underneath here, but it sits there like this. It's kind of tucked away under here. So if I just let it rest there like that, the drive shaft allows me to put the engine in, but we need to go forward just a little bit. So I got to pull the engine transmission out of that little peg. If I go forward, you know what I think I can do? I think that's going to work. I think that's going to work. I'm tempted to just install this like that and glue the drive shaft in, because even if I got the even if it's not connected, if this is sitting that much far forward, just like that, you actually would never see it because of our cross member here, and where it mounts, where it actually connects to the engine, is covered completely by this little cross member. So even if the drive shaft never connected and I had the engine that much far forward, which I don't need it that far forward, but even if I did, even if I needed the engine that far forward, even if we went that far like this, and it was never connecting at all, you'd still not be able to see it from underneath because you can't see it. You can't see under there. See? You can't see it. It's like, yay, hidden. So I think we're good as far as that goes. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to our book and see what we didn't do. Let's get my drive shaft out of here before it falls. Okay, so that's something we're going to have to deal with in the future here. So last time we left off, we were installing the radiator. We had to install the rad into the chassis. So the radiator is going to sit into that spot and that spot there. Two great big tabs, although they don't fit perfectly, and the rad is supposed to be on an angle somewhat like this. Okay, so it's a little hard to determine. So what I'm going to do, because there's so much play in this, it's really kind of a guesswork. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it so that the shroud is 90 degrees to the frame. So if I move my finger, you can see I'm going to do it that angle like that, okay, so that this shroud here, this shroud right there, is a 90 degree angle to the frame. That's what I'm going to go for. And that seems reasonable, that that's what they would do in real life. So let's put some glue in there and in there. I might wind up having to tape the radiator in to keep it at that angle. It seems to really love wanting to go on the floor. So let's put our pegs in our holes, and I might have to tape it in order to hold it at this angle. It might hold on its own, I really don't know. My guess is no. Yeah, as soon as I let go, it wants to move. So I am going to tape it. Let's get a little piece of tape. And let's just go doink. And get that back to 90 degrees. And bingo. Did it, pulled it too tight. There we go. Okay. So that should hold it for a little while. Hopefully it holds it forever, not just a little while. But because I moved it all around, I'm going to have to reapply the glue, because this Tamiya glue in the orange cap bottle, it works great, but if you're moving the part quite a bit, then it tends to not hold. Move my steering wheel out of the way. Okay, so that's going to dry. And in the meantime, everything is all done on the chassis. So while that's drying, let's skip ahead. Let's skip ahead to interior stuff. Let's do some interior stuff, okay? So, let me get my book sorted here. Let's just move this out of the way so we don't accidentally bump it or anything. Let's make sure it's still there. Good. We're at a good 90 degrees. We're pretty close anyway. Even if I'm like 92 degrees, I'm okay. Okay, so we got our interior bucket. We got a couple of door panels to go in. We got those over here. Everything's already painted, so it should be just a matter of installing everything. In theory. It is unfortunate, all these nubs. You get something painted really nice while it's on the sprue, and then you take it off the sprue and you've got these ugly little unpainted spots. But we'll see how they look. This is our passenger door panel. So, seems to fit in there okay. I don't think I'm going to have any issue with fitment. Let's get some of this glue. And we'll run it along our edge. And drop this guy in there. There we go. And I'm going to run along the top here just for added measure. Alright, door panel 1 is installed. Just like that. Okay, door panel 1 is in. Let's do a quick little test fit on door panel 2. And I'd say, yep, pretty much the same. Slide him in. Hold on to him a little bit. There we go. And that's that. Driver's door panel's in. Just like that. Okay. So, put those aside. I'm going to grab our dashboard. Steering column. So, steering column is here. There's our steering column. We need our dashboard, and I need a fan turned on here. Okay, there's our dashboard. So we have a D-shaped hole in our dash and a little much smaller yet D-shaped hole on our steering column, but it doesn't really do much good. It is just very, very barely big enough to make a difference. I would like to put glue in from behind if I can. Just kind of hold that there for a sec. There we go. So our steering column is installed. I'm going to have to wait a minute or 5 before I can actually put the steering wheel on there, because it's just going to be a nightmare to try and keep that from moving around. Usually I put the steering wheel on the column first and then put it as an assembly, but not this time. I did it backwards this time. So we're going to let this dry, we're going to put that aside. And I want to kind of prop it up if I can, but I can't. So I'm just going to have to leave it. Maybe if I do this, maybe not. It's hard to prop it up without without being a jerk. Let's do that. Okay. Let's see. So we got our gear shift knob and our emergency handle. Our gear shift, these both coming off of the chrome sprues. Did I believe I took off. Well, I took a lot of things off. I got my side view mirror here, and I've got exhaust pipes, and I got the rear view mirror. Why do I have a side view and a rear view? Because normal cars have that, stupid. Oh yeah, that's right. What I'm not seeing is my gear shifter. I'm not seeing my gear shifter. So what sprue was the gear shifter on? Is the question. That is the question. What sprue was the gear shifter on? It was on a chrome sprue. So what was a chrome sprue? This was a chrome sprue. Here we go, gear shifter and our emergency handle, or emergency brake. Here we go. So, one thing in particular, our gear shifter, you know, usually these things are chrome. Not always. Which is why I understand they put it on the chrome sprue, because a lot of times your stick is chrome, while the knob is probably black or white. I think usually from the factory shift knobs are black, while the arm is chrome. And then same with this, same with our emergency handle. So it's supposed to be chrome, but I want it to be a little bit more robust in its paintedness. In other words, if I touch it, I don't want the paint coming off, which means I need to use actual paint and not something like Molotow, because Molotow will just come off as soon as I touch it. So I'm just going to do it in the brightest silver I have. And call that good enough. And do the same with my little shifter. The fact that the shifter handle is not actually chrome and it's just silver I think my dad's not going to care. I was actually talking to my dad about this car, and he was saying that my mom hated the fact that young girls would just flock to the car back in, I guess, 1970. Young girls would flock to the car and crawl all over it, and my mom didn't like that very much. So they went on a road trip, like a 4-hour road trip, and when they got to their destination, these girls were crawling all over the car and not leaving it alone. And apparently my mom said to my dad, when we get back home, you're selling that car. And so he did. So our emergency brake handle is going to go into that little slot right there in the center. So we're going to take our glue and we'll just put it into that little hole there. Grab this handle and then put it in there. You're supposed to stay in your home. There we go. Okay, our handle's in. Next is our shifter. Shifter obviously is going to go right there on the boot, and I might as well just keep it in the tweezers while I put some glue on the thing there, and then put it in its home and let go. There we go. That was nice and easy. Just going to make sure it's straight here. There we go. So our shifter handle and our emergency brake handle are in. And now, with it having been a few minutes, I should be able to put our steering wheel onto our column. Dig it out from over here. Let's do a little test fit. It's a tight fit. Because it's tight, I don't want to try and work on the column. I'm going to work on the whole of the steering wheel. Let's see if this fits. Yeah, that fits too easy, which means it's not big enough. So where's my other pin vise? Where's my Tamiya one? It's got a bit of a bigger bit. Still nothing, which means it's even bigger than that. So let's grab our big vise. This is probably way too big, but I'd rather have it too big and fit a little bit loosely on here. So it's got to fit. There we go. That did the trick. Okay, so glue in the hole. Glue in the hole. You know, as opposed to fire in the hole, glue in the hole. There we go. Steering wheel straight. About as straight as I can get it. There we go. Our steering wheel's on the dash. Just like that. Okay. Bingo. So, steering dashboard can now get installed. Let's see how this fits in here. I haven't even test fit this yet. So I'm not sure. There isn't any like definitive points. I guess obviously this little, where our stereo kind of fits in, is going to fit in that little channel there in the center console. And go lean forward towards our drivers and passenger, and we're going to sit in like that and complete our dashboard. So we'll put in some glue here on the side, glue here on the side. I don't think I need to put any glue in the center. I think the two sides are probably good enough. Just make sure. There we go. Okay, there's our installed dashboard. Looking pretty good. It's kind of plain, you know, it's all black and silver, and that's it. Okay, seats. Seats are going to go in, and we don't have any definitive channels or anything like that, so it could, in theory, maybe. Oh no, we can't. I was going to say we could have like the passenger seat, have it pushed up just a little forward or something like that, so that the seats are not exactly in the same plane or parallel. And I could probably get away with that, having the passenger seat forward just a hair, you know, just to imply that somebody moved the seat up a little bit and did that. But there's a detail I need to add to that before we can do anything with that. So we're going to let this all dry and everything before we really play around anymore. I need to put seat belts in this car because, well, it needs seat belts. That's a detail that since my last build, I want to kind of do in every build from now on. So I want to have seat belts in my cars. It's a detail that just really adds something to it, and I want to do it every time now. So if you guys did watch my last build, which I know you did because you guys like watching my builds, right? You saw that I 3D printed a whole bunch of seat belts of different styles, old styles and new styles. Obviously we're going to use the old styles on this car, so, but I'm not sure if I can get away with actually using these particular belts. I can do the buckles, that's not going to be an issue. So let's just take one of these belts off of here. Let's just kind of cut our way through. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use my new ultrasonic knife because it will cut through the resin like butter, just like butter. I'll show you guys this. My hand boost ultrasonic knife. Okay. We're going to cut through like butter. Barely any pressure. Look at that. Just like that. Still got one on here? That's fine. Bing, done. Okay. Okay, so in theory, this would just sit down on the seat, but as you can see, this is just a straight belt, and that's not right. And if I try and bend this resin, it's probably going to break it. It's probably just going to break. And I don't really want to do that. The other thing I need is the female side of that belt, which would be like, say, one of these. Now I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to use a regular knife to try and get this off here, and you're going to see the difference in trying to get this off. No, I just broke it. I just broke it. Because it decided to stick better to the supports than it did itself. So I'm going to go back to my sonic knife and cut these supports off. Just like that. It really is amazing what it does. It just looks like, it makes it look like it's just like cutting through plastic, even though it's not. Now the fact this broke off might actually be okay, because having a buckle just kind of sitting like that is going to be pretty good, right? And I can actually just have this sitting like this. And even on that angle, I could just glue that down like that. And that might work. Something I discovered with resin is you can heat it up and bend it. You can't do too much with it, but you can. You still can, right? So I'm going to grab my torch and we're going to flame up this. Look what it did. See? Let that cool, and now that's bent. Suddenly I got bent resin, and I can use that like that. Now I really only need about that kind of length. That's probably all I really need. But once I get to that spot there, I want this to really bend down and go down beside the seat. So we're going to just do this. Like that. I actually bent it a little too much, but the nature of the resin as it cools down, see, that actually is going to work to my advantage. I have to glue this to the seat after all. So if I can glue that in place, do that, and then I can just trim it off as I need, I think that'll work good. So let's grab some glue. We need CA glue for resin. Okay. That's probably way more glue than I need, but it's better to have more and not need it than to need it and not have it, right? Isn't that what they say about lots of things? Okay, so grab the belt and we're going to put some glue on the underside of it rather than on the seat. Okay, and we'll find a good spot for it. Sit her down. And that's our belt's new home. Just like that. I'm going to take some accelerator. Give her a bit of a spray. I want to hold it down though. I want to hold it down while I spray. If I can. Are you going to let me do that? Maybe that. what's happening is what I feared would happen. If I played around with it too much. See, sometimes you play with it too much, this is what happens. Okay, so take the advice, don't play with it too much. Okay, so I don't want to be having a problem with my seat, so I don't want to risk breaking it either. I don't want to risk breaking it either, so we're going to use our sonic knife to trim it. Right here. Just like that. Okay. Now our counterpart is not going to be this guy. I need to get a different one off of here. I'm going to be smart this time and use my sonic knife . Okay, good enough. For this side, I want actually to be that kind of angle. But because our female side is always to the inside, this is going to be our driver's seat. So I want to have it kind of like this on that angle, just kind of sitting there like this. I could do that and make it like, hey, this is a long belt, but I don't want that. I want it just kind of sitting right here. So I want to kind of do the bend like right at that junction there. So I want to bend it very sharp though. There we go. And then trim that off. Kind of that way, so this way kind of thing. Doesn't really matter. There we go. So now that's going to go right there in an angle kind of like this. Kind of just like that. Now this time I'm going to put the glue on the seat. Right there. Drop him into place. I think that's about perfect. Spray. So there's our seat belts. Okay, obviously those need to be painted black to match the car, and obviously the chrome on the buckles, right? But that's that. So that seat's done. So now we're going to work on this guy. Now this one I'm going to do the seat belt. We're going to do the female one a little bit longer, sticking out a little bit like that. So in this case, because of that, I'm going to glue on the buckle again, just like I did on the first one. So that I can kind of line it up here. Like hopefully not glue my finger to the seat or the buckle. In order for the illusion to work, that's got to be right to the edge. Okay, so I need one more male buckle. So I'll take this one here beside the guy that I broke. That's long enough. I can break that off now. Okay. Now what I want to do with this one, I need to, where's my thing? I need my thing. I didn't put my sonic blade right up against it, so I've got these tiny little nubs. Super tiny little nubs. Okay. I want this to kind of look like it's, you know, folded on itself a little bit. Or not exactly straight. I don't want it straight, you know what I mean? Like it should have a little bit of like, look like a flex or something like that. Don't want so much heat that it melts it. That's not bad. So I think if I leave it this length, but just put it right like that, I think that looks pretty good. So I only need to glue it really in two spots at each tip here. Right there, right there. Oh, really? It just like flinged out of my tweezers and it's got glue on it and I have not a clue where it went. Well, I literally don't know where it went, guys. No idea. I'm gonna find that thing like 10 years from now, super glued to something, to literally something that I don't know. Okay, I trimmed this one too much, too close, so that's garbage. Okay. There we go. Good long length on that one. Clean up these. A little bit. Just need to flatten that out. Alright, let's get rid of that garbage. Alright, let's back to the drawing board. Let's do the same thing. Okay. This one's a little too long this time, but that's okay. We can do that. Okay. Try this a second time. There we go. That's not bad. Now, as far as this goes, I would like to try and just bend this over. I don't think it's really going to cooperate. Bond, but it did bend. Let's just try. Nope, it broke. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Now gluing it like this is going to be hard to do because it's now got the accelerant on it. Let's see if I can get rid of the accelerant with this. So with the accelerant, as soon as I put the glue down, it's going to dry. And that's, well, that works a little too fast then. And that worked pretty much instant. Just like that. So there's our seat belt for the passenger seat. Now, let's do our test fit in the cockpit, in the interior. This now is a much tighter fit because of the belt going past the seat, but it also helps if I actually put it past the steering wheel. So we got that fit in there, and that looks good. And our belt on the passenger, where it goes down by the console, looks very realistic. You'd never know that that's not going down past the seat. I like that. That looks good. As for our passenger side, the illusion is not quite as good. Although it's close. What probably would have been better is if I put the belts in after the seat is in, because this seems to be hitting our door panel, not wanting to go all the way down. There we go. Okay, seats are in. And I can notch the passenger seat just a little hair forward. Okay, I know how I'm going to get them in and out now. Just like that. And just like that. So now I can get glue on them. I would like to kind of take this one off and just reposition it if I can get away with it. Let's see if I can get this off. Oh, it comes off pretty easy actually. Okay, so I'm going to re-glue this one in after the seat's in. Okay, okay. Let's put our driver's side in. Let's put some glue on them all the way around the bottom, just like so. And that same way, dip them in there. And he's in. Okay. Passenger seat. Wheel all the way around. And dip him in. And even put him a little... I can't get him a notch forward. And I didn't dip him in. There we go. Passenger seat's in. Now, our buckle. I want to put it on right in this spot again, but this time I want it right up against like that. I actually don't like that. Get off of there. I want it bent. That glue still active? No, it's not. There we go. Stay there. Stop sticking to the tweezers, you stupid jerk. Stop sticking to my finger, you stupid jerk. Alright, there he is. So there's our seat belts installed. Okay. Now we're going to let all that glue dry. Let that cure and solidify and keep everything nice and happy in their new home, as our interior is almost done. I say almost because I obviously have to paint those belts. And I'm going to paint those belts off camera because I feel like it. Right? I feel like it, so why not? So I feel like I got a little bit more done in this particular episode than in the last one, even though it doesn't really seem like it. Our interior, except for painting the belts, is now done, and I'm happy about that. I'm happy we got those belts done. Our undercarriage, wherever I put it, back here, our radiator's now able to be trusted, I think. No, maybe not. It's still really kind of wavy. So I want to leave that. Just leave that taped like that, and we'll just leave it. And I'll just leave it, and then I'm going to leave it. Yeah. I'm actually going to put more glue on it. Like that. And we'll leave it. And I'll leave that for like a good 2 hours or so and let that paint and the glue, not just the paint, but the glue, I'm gonna let that dry. Okay? So this is where I need to leave it for today, guys. I do want to thank you though. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for the support, and the new subscribers, thank you so much. Speaking of which, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I'd really love it if you just hit subscribe button. And also, if you like this stuff, hit the like button down below too. And down in the description box, you'll see links to my other things like my Twitch and my Instagram, X channel, Discord, things like that. Every time I finish one of these builds, I upload it to my Instagram. And in fact, once in a while, like earlier today, I uploaded a couple of still shots of the engine. You can check those out too if you feel like it. And yeah, so that's where we're going to leave it. When we come back, the seats belts will be painted and we're going to continue. So I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you all in the next one.